Hello everybody, today we're going to unbox, take a close-up look and test the VonHaus 7-fin oil-filled radiator. So let's first take a look around the outside of the box. So this is a movable 7-fin oil-filled radiator from VonHaus. It has a 1500 watt output and 3 heat settings, 600, 900 and 1500 watt output. So let's go ahead and open up the box by of course cutting apart the sticky tape that's holding the box lid closed. So as you can see at the top, just being very careful here, that some assembly is required. Okay, so let's go ahead and pop the caster wheels off and set them down. And there are quite a few parts right there. And excuse the squeaking, as you can see, some brackets as well. And always checking the underside of the styrofoam packaging to make sure that it's not left anything out. And it comes with a user manual or user guide as well. So you can see the VonHaus 7-fin oil-filled radiator right there with the instruction manual front and back of it. And just quickly flipping through, showing you the table of contents right there, along with the other details. So good for reference right here, but always tricky for me to kind of balance and make sure that the manual is showing correctly in the frame, given that this is operating against the camera's lens. And there we go. So hopefully you have some sense of what I'm showing you right there. And that's the user manual or user guide covered. And there we go. We're kind of off center right now. Try my best right there to center it. Okay, so it does have a 1500 watt output with 3 heat settings. Going to set the user manual down right there, or instruction manual. And of course, pulling out the oil-filled radiator. As you can see, I'm kind of tearing the clear plastic bag, which is protecting the radiator. So right there, just gonna be very careful and rest it against the wall for the time being. And continue to remove the rest of the contents. So that's the box emptied, nothing else is left inside of it. Always making sure, right there, we can set the box right there to the side. And of course, now checking through to make sure that we've not left anything behind. So there isn't anything left in the clear plastic bag, as well as on the styrofoam packaging for the base. So I'm going to spread the contents out more neatly so you can see what we've just removed from the box packaging. So quite a few bits involved. Not sure how well we can see, but yeah. Okay, I'm just checking the LCD lens, the tiny LCD lens on my camcorder to make sure that everything is fitting in the frame, so you know what to expect should you consider this VonHaus 7-fin oil-filled radiator. So okay, so those are the contents, some assembly required, and of course showing you the plug as well. So before I do that, I'm just going to give you a close-up look at what's involved when it comes to the assembly of the parts. So you can see a bunch of parts here which will involve fitting together on the oil-filled radiator so that it operates as it's designed to do. So there we go. Setting the contents back down, all accessories or parts, the casters. Not quite sure what those U brackets are, but we'll figure it out, and always refer to the user manual if you're unsure, or always do that first before starting to operate any kind of electrical or electronic appliance. So as you can see, there is that power cable holder right there, or power cord, and giving you a close-up look to the overall look of this 7-fin oil-filled radiator right there. So obviously the wheels have not been fitted yet. I think I might just leave that out from the video because I don't quite have the tools on me right now. I was kind of expecting that, but we'll see what we can do. And showing you the front panel as well, and of course the underside. So 7 fins altogether. It's available in 8, 9 and 12 or 11 fin configuration. So altogether 7, 9 or 11 fin with 1500, 2000 and 2005 watt output. So this is the kind of most basic movable one with 7 fins. So that's the rear of the unit. So I'm going to move further back for the time being so that you have a good idea of what we're dealing with right here. And giving you a 3/4 view as well right there, or 30-degree view. So right round. And once again, I have to mention that the wheels, as you can see in the background, they're still not fitted yet. So some assembly required. And now giving you a close-up look to the controls of the radiator right there. So as you can see, minimum to maximum rotating control knob. It does also have tip over protection and overheat protection. And it does have a do not cover warning right there where the vent is. So a nice clear view, hopefully. If I can stabilize what I'm doing right there. And you can see the VonHaus branding. And of course, another vent at the front right there. So according to the box packaging, which I've shown at the start of the video, this is about 6.5 kilos heavy. Okay, but as you can see, I'm managing okay for the time being. Okay, so we've had a good all-round look. Just going to show you some more specifications right there. Okay, and you can see that my hand does almost fit through the gaps of the 7 fin. So as I mentioned, this is a 7 fin with a 1500 watt output. It's also available in a 9 as well as 11 fin version with 2000 and 2500 watt output respectively. Okay, now I'm going to show you the power cable right here, or plug. And also that hopefully gives you some sense of the length of the cord, power cord or cable. So 1.5 meters long, right there, as you can see. Okay, so fairly long enough. And also one bit that I forgot to show you is just this holder at the front for storage of the plug and cord cable. Okay, now I'm going to plug it in without fitting the wheels. Obviously the wheels are meant to be on, but I'll just do a quick test anyway. I'm not going to run it too hot. So plugging it in and flipping that switch on, And I just want to be clear, so I'm just going to move the wheels in the shot so people know that this hasn't been assembled yet. So the caster wheels right there, along with the brackets or base. Okay, and now what we can do is try and figure out how to turn it on. Okay, the knob currently is showing at the minimum setting. As we rotate it, as you can see, the indicator light has come on. And I'm just going to show a 3/4 view right there, so you have some sense of the unit. And move out of the way. Let's kind of shift it a little bit this way. Okay, and right now can't quite feel anything as yet. As you can see, the knob is in the almost 80% or 75% setting. You can crank it all the way to the max setting right there, and it stays that way as well. So as I mentioned earlier, this does have overheat protection, so it will shut down if it does feel that it's gotten too hot or unsafely hot. And then it also has tip over protection as well, so if you were to knock it over, it will turn off. There we go, as you can see that the light has gone off to show that it is off, and it's resumed once it's returned to the vertical or safe position right there. And still, as you can see, my hands are in there. Can't quite feel the warmth yet, so let's hit these buttons to see what they do. So there's a left and right semicircle right there with the buttons split into half in the middle. And I'm still waiting for it as it very, very slowly heats up. Still can't quite feel anything as yet. And obviously we've pushed these two buttons in and cranked it, or the knob, to the maximum output with the 1500 output, of course, for this 7-fin version of the VonHaus all-filled radiator. It's also available in black for certain models, so this is the 7-fin. There's also the 9 and 11-fin versions, as I mentioned earlier, which have the movable caster wheels. So those may require assembly as well. Don't think they'll be too much different from this and how it's packaged. So okay, still can't quite feel the heat right now, but at the bottom it is certainly hot at the bottom part of the radiator. So the oil at the base of the radiator is slowly starting to heat up. So once it's reached a hot temperature, that heat will rise and you'll feel it in the top part of the radiator itself. So right now I can feel that the top is also starting slowly to warm up, but the base is definitely much noticeably hotter. And right now the heat on the radiator is definitely noticeable from a few moments earlier. And before it gets too hot, as I've got no wheels fitted, let's be safe here and turn it off so that it doesn't do any damage or burn the bottom part of the radiator and the wood surface that it's stood on. So we do that by, of course, turning the knob all the way to the minimum setting and just making sure by depressing the two buttons right there. And that's the VonHaus 7-fin all-filled radiator. So that's the VonHaus 7-fin all-filled radiator. Thanks for watching and happy heating!